Greetings, listeners. Welcome to Consulting Between Friends. I am your host, Michael Holmes Jr. As we progress in our lives, we tend to set goals and aspirations to achieve. To achieve any financial goals, you have to understand money. The world of investments can offer multiple avenues to fulfill any of your dreams. When most people hear the word invest, they think of any capital they own or pursue. Knowing how investments work is important and requires some knowledge as well. The popular ways most people invest are stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. In this fast moving society, more people are relying on apps to invest their money. There is a company by the name of Wizest that has ways to make investing easier and understandable to a wider audience. Wizest wants more people to feel comfortable investing. With the upcoming Wizest app, everyone can follow curated financial experts to invest on their behalf while learning from them. In this interview, I will be speaking with Axel Thibon, the co founder and CEO of Wizest, who, after launching a digital bank, leveraged his experience to create Wizest. The topic is Wizest, the investment app for direction. We will return after a message from our sponsor. Everyone is always planning things, and advertising is needed to make it happen. So, if it's personal or business, let Pinpoint Designs and Images solve that problem. With Pinpoint Designs and Images LLC, you will receive quality work and professional service at a great price. The service that is offered: flyers, business cards, programs, invitations, photo books, ad booklets, and much more. Michael Holmes Jr., owner/principal designer of Pinpoint Designs and Images LLC, contact me by email or social media. Email address is pinpointdesignsandImages@gmail.com, and Instagram Pinpoint Designs, and Facebook Pinpoint Designs and Images. We are back. Before the interview begins, I want to give you a little background on Axel Thibon. Axel is the CEO and co-founder at Wizest. Axel was born in France. He began his career as an industrial engineer. Later, he moved to Spain to continue in that profession. Axel came to the US to get his MBA from MIT. He then started his financial journey. Axel served as head of strategy for two banks, leading areas like strategic and commercial planning, product development, marketing, operational efficiency, compliance, digital transformation, and M and A. Axel also managed an online bank, virtual bank. And before starting Wizest, he launched another online bank from scratch, Total Direct Bank. My guest is Axel Thibon. Now, welcome him to Consulting Between Friends podcast.
Hello, hello. Nice to meet you today.
How you doing today?
Perfect, perfect. Thank you.
How was your day?
A good day, like at the end of the week, so always like ready for the weekend.
Yes, that's definitely right. Now, can you tell me your background?
Yes, I can, no problem. So like as you probably hear, I do not have like an accent from here from the US because I'm like originally from France, and like even if we are going to speak about like finance and technology today, and investing, with what we do with Wizest, like my background is not at all in finance because like I started my career like back in France and Spain
Hmm.
a long time ago already as like a mechanical and industrial engineer. So I worked first like in the automotive sector for a few years, being an engineer and being like working in teams that were designing the first mass produced EV, like it was like the Nissan Leaf.
Hmm.
So nothing to do with like finance again, but like a very fun ride, I would say. And then after a few years, I decided that I wanted to have like a more rounded education because like I wanted to learn about finance, to learn about marketing, things that I didn't know being an engineer. And so that's why I decided to do my MBA. And so I went came to the US to work also on my English. Uh, to do the
Hmm.
MBA, and then like it's when after I switched to banking after that. I had the opportunity to work like in a few banks here in the US and in being involved with the strategy, so being the head of strategy and doing a lot of things like marketing, product development, commercial planning, M&A, digital transformation, operations. So very very interesting. And through this journey in the banking industry, I have been like managing a direct bank myself, like that we had like through an acquisition. And then in my last experience before like Wizest, I have been also like building from scratch a new digital bank on behalf of a larger institution. So which was like the first time, like I would say, creating a finance institution from scratch, which was like a very interesting experience, and that led me to the confidence and that I was able to build by myself like my own little company, which I'm doing with Wizest, and I think also the reason why I did that is because back in the day when I was an engineer, I wanted myself to start investing, to start like saving money, but
Yes,
as I didn't know about finance at the time, I didn't know what to do and what to start. And so
yes.
that's I think that's through the year and the different evolutions in my career, I was able to acquire the tools and the skills to be able to solve the problem and to build something. So that's like a little bit my story and my background.
Okay, that's really good. I like your story. And I also like how you say you say really from France. Is that correct?
Correct, correct, yes.
Yes. So where do you live right now in US?
Yes. So now I live in Cleveland, Ohio, but I've been like since I arrived in the US, I started like with Boston, obviously, at MIT, and then like I went to Miami, Florida, for a few years, and now in Cleveland. So I'm like also like moving around.
Yes, that you have moved around a lot. And that's also a good thing. And so since you say you went to MIT, so how was that when you went to that university?
No, that was like fantastic experience. Like, and I think also like being like an engineer originally, and I think it was MIT was a smooth transition with like the whole like focus on science and engineering that they have and like the high level that there is in this university. So it was a smooth transition for me to learn about I would say business and finance and marketing being there. So I really enjoyed like the experience, and I'm very grateful for the education I got there.
Well, that is really good. I'm glad to hear about your education and your background as well. Now we're about to start. What is Wizet?
Aha, good question. So without entering into too much detail, because I'm sure we will have like more questions to go through all the details. Like Wizest is like an investing platform, allow ever say everyone to start their journey about investing, to build wealth for their future, and investing through portfolios and strategies. So it's not like a trading app like Robinhood. And by the way, we were like mentioned a couple of times in Forbes as like an anti-Robinhood solution, because
Mhm.
our objective is to allow anybody that to start investing without having any previous knowledge, and to feel comfortable doing it, and think about the long term, like investing to think about their retirement and about like long-term projects. So it's not about like short-term games or like gambling. It's a more like a safer approach.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, since you say what Wizet is, how did you get into this platform in the first place?
Yeah, it's like the reason why I came into this platform. It's also very related to what problem I am solving with it, because at the end of the day, like it comes to my days when I was still not working in finance. I was like a mechanical engineer, so I had
Mhm.
no financial background. And myself, I was trying to find a solution to start investing a little bit my money and say, hey, I want to prepare for my retirement in a few years, and want to start investing, but I didn't know what to do and where to start. And
Mhm.
so I went with solutions like Robinhood or E-Trade, that is
Yes.
like free to start. But then like when I was in the platform, I was like, and now what do I do? What do I buy? What do I sell? I have no clue. I'm gonna make mistakes. And so I went back to my bank and say, hey, can I have some help to start investing?
Mhm.
And they say, yeah, no problem. We can have financial advisors for you, but do you already have like 100K or 200K to qualify for the service? I say, no, not yet. So I say, okay, come back in 5 years when you will have the money. And so I was like, okay, now what do I do? And the only things that were left available is like passive solutions like Acorns, Wealthfront, Betterment, which is like robo advising platforms, which is
Yes.
great if you don't want to hear what is happening with your money. But if you are like me that wants to understand, want to participate, maybe to take a decision also on what is happening with your money,
Mhm.
and don't want to just be in front of a black box, I think that there was no solution. And so that's why I decided to through the years and after working in banking to start working on the solution, and the solution is Wisest.
Well, that's a nice story how you came up with Wisest. Since you also mentioned that, where the name come from.
Haha, so the name, so that's a funny story, because we wanted always to have like something in relation with like investing, with like all together, like we, or like we invest. And so at the beginning, the first name was Wevest, like we invest
Uh-huh.
all together. But like we found out very quickly that there was another financial institution having like a similar name, and we said like you know what, let's not like pick up the fight, and let's find a different name. And when we did the second search, we found out like Wisest, because hey, it's a way to invest wisely, so Wisest. And so that's like that's it was not the first name, but it's the second name. But I think it's trying to picture like what is the objective of Wisest, which is try to help people to invest wisely.
Yes, that is a good. I like how that sounds. It's very catchy as well.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. What problems did you face while forming Wisest?
Haha. So that's uh, I would say the first issue is like when you think about like financial services, it's like a little bit less, but it's like also healthcare. So that's an industry that is very very regulated, because at the
Yes.
end of the day, you have to always try to do things in the best interest of the end user and the client, or the patient for healthcare,
Hmm.
and so that there is a lot of regulation. So the first I would say difficulty was to, with the idea that I had in mind, and with the rest of the team, to build Wisest, to make sure what we were doing was compliant with the regulation. So
Hmm.
so the first, I would say, that almost the first year, we have been like working on making sure that what we were developing was okay from a regulatory perspective, before starting to build the I would say the system, and the tools, and incorporating the company. So that was like the first like main difficulties. And then when we incorporated Wisest, with the regulator, which is the SEC, the regulator that we are like working with. It was also a very long process because they didn't understand what we were doing. It was something new for them. So we had to
Yes.
explain for like 6 to 9 months. We are trying to do this. We are trying to do that. And when they understood the business model and how we were working, not in our own interest but in the interest of the end user, that went much easier with that. So that has been, I would say, the biggest challenge. And if not apart from this challenge, we face the regular challenge that any other company face, which is like building the right team, finding the right people to build the team, and then like being able to develop the product, finding funding from investors that will believe in the project, and now we are at a point where we are launching, and so now like also it's finding partners to be able to launch, and we are very happy to have in partner with like the NBA team of Cleveland, the Cleveland Cavaliers. So
Oh,
so that's a nice like partnership to start I would say giving exposure to our project.
yes, that is right. That exposure. Exposure is what you need when you're trying to produce something new and exciting at the same time. Well, since you also did mention about Wizet and how your problem solutions was, how many people is a part of the company?
So in terms of like people, we have like four main co-founders,
Hmm.
and then we have like I would say other people that are like or full-time employees or like contractors or like helping still part-time. So I would say in total there is like around 12 people involved in the project.
Hmm.
So that's like more or less like who we are.
Okay, that sounds good. One other thing, since you are mentioning Wisest
Mhm.
and it will be releasing soon, do you mind discussing the releasing about date? In other words, the time frame.
Time frame. So I can tell you that like we are like now like doing the final testing. If you look at like our website, you will see like some information about Wizest. If you go into the app store, like it's Wizest is there already, but like we are like doing the final tweaking to make sure that in a few days we will open to the we will be opening to the public. So I would say I don't know if it's at the end of this week or at the end of next week yet, but as soon as we know that the application will be ready, then we will communicate around it. But the best way to know, I would say, is to go to our website, leave the email to sign up, and so this way you will receive all information when everything will be live, and to be able to be part of the first users.
Oh, that sounds really good. Do you mind saying what the website is?
Yes, so very easy. It's like www and then it's wisest.com. So wizest.com.
Okay, that sounds really good. Okay, since you're releasing it soon, since this is an app, basically,
Mhm.
so what have you learned while creating the app?
Haha. So we learn like we learn every day. So I'd say this is a big learning process.
Yes.
So but I would say that it's all it's a little bit like what we mentioned before. Like it's learning about like going around all the difficulties to convince everyone about like the project, explaining like how it works, validating with like a lot of people around that this is the type of product and the type of service that they want and that they need. And we had a lot of like interviews and surveys with potential users
Hmm.
to confirm and to also learn new things from them that helps us to modify and adjust the app. So the app that is going to be live in a few days, it's very different from like the original idea, but the whole changes have like been happening through all the learning we made in the last 2 years, 2 years and a half, like building the app.
Hmm. Oh, that sounds really good. Well, I'm looking forward to this app, and I'm going to get more information from you from this interview. How does Wisest work?
Ah, so let's let's give like all the listeners and people that are watching like the information. So as I mentioned before, like the idea of Wizest is to try to make investing simple for anyone, and anyone that even have like no background in finance. And so the idea is like when a user come into the app and into the system in Wisest, what they don't see, they don't see like a lot of graphs, a lot of like numbers, like and things like ETF, ABC, mutual fund, XYZ, which all that is like scary for someone that doesn't know what it is.
Hmm.
And so what you come into the app, what you see people, and we are used to look at people in Facebook, in LinkedIn, in Instagram, and so that's like something that is familiar for everyone. And so you see
Yes.
these people, and these people that you see in the app are like financial experts that are working with us. And so you can see their profile, who they are as a person, what is like their bio, their strategy, and also like the portfolio that they are sharing. That, hey, this is my portfolio that I'm using for investing, and so it's fully transparent. It's like you can see all the details, and then you can see also from them all the messages and the posting that they are doing
Hmm.
to explain their strategies and also to explain what they do when they change something in their portfolio. And so you say, okay, I like maybe this person, this other person, and his third person. I want to follow them. And after you follow them, you can decide to say like, now I want to put some money to work, and work with them as if they were almost my financial guides or financial advisors almost.
Yes.
And so if you have like, let's say $5,000, you can say, hey, I'm going to put like half of it with one of this expert and the other half with another expert. And what Wizest is doing like basically taking the portfolio of this expert and replicating them on your behalf, so you don't have to do any work, in function of the weight that you allocated. So maybe 50% and 50%. And so then the way you as a user manage your portfolio is again not by managing the different stocks or funds or ETFs, because it's something that could be like abstract for a novice investor. It's by managing your team. So if like the expert you selected are like Jeffrey and Catherine, you are managing Jeffrey and Catherine, and you see how they do, and you receive like their posts or tweets that they send every week to explain to you what they do, and to comment on the news, and if they do a change, they explain why they changed something, so you can learn also in the process, which is very important.
Yes.
And so that's like we think this human layer that we put there is what makes investing much more approachable and easier for anyone.
Oh, okay. Well, making things very simple is key, especially when you're trying to create something, because you're trying to get people attention. And when
Mhm.
you explain things a certain way, people are more able to gravitate to it.
Yes, and then also like we think that money is a very emotional topic, and
Yes,
as it's very emotional topic, sometimes it's frustrating when the only thing you have in front of you is like it's like an algorithm, a robo, or like an 1-800 number where you don't know who is going to answer to you. So
correct.
if like you are able to interact with someone, have like a real person that you can relate to and trust, I think that's where the magic happens.
That is true.
Since some people don't understand the basics of investing, how does your company make individuals feel comfortable about becoming an investor?
Aha, good question, and that's a little bit in relation with what we just discussed. I think that the main difference that we have versus other companies and other solutions is that like without having to spend a lot of money to get a human financial advisor working with you, you can have that human support in Wisest, and I think that's very important. Like to be able to relate to someone and be able to trust this person, and having this person explaining what is happening, and like reassuring you. I think it's very important, above all for people that are novice that are like looking for help and solutions. So that's like that's the main differentiation, and then also the second one I would say is like as in Wisest, you can choose to follow more than one person. You are also de facto doing some diversification and not putting all your eggs in one basket. So you are like reducing the risk by saying, hey, I'm going to follow this person, but also this person and this other person. So this way I can compare, I can see what I like, what I don't like, and little by little focus on the one that is going to do the best match for me. But like, so that's like a combination of factor that where we're trying to provide like diversification, reduce the level of risk, and also like a transparency and trust with like having like a real, I would say, human interaction.
Well, that's important. It's good to have a human interaction, especially on something like this. And then another thing of it is, I like how you say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because really that's not a good thing to do. Because if you get yourself into some trouble, you can't get yourself out of trouble.
Exactly.
So your analogy with not putting all your eggs in one basket is really good. Plus, also, it's giving you the option to also see what's available on out there as well.
Exactly. And today, if you go to other solutions like the passive solution, like or the robo advising solution, you answer a questionnaire and they will tell you like, hey, here's a portfolio for you, but you cannot choose it, and it's only one. So you don't know if it's the best for you or not. And with Wizest, what you can do is like you can say, hey, I can choose this one, but I can also choose this one and this other one. I can mix and have like some diversification just in case, and also because maybe I don't know if the first one I chose is the best for me, so I can try and compare and with time decide what is best for me. So it's putting back the control in the hand of the user, and saying to the user, hey, we trust you. You are the one that knows best what is best for you, and so like here is we are helping you, and here is a tool to be able to achieve your goals.
That's good. I like that. Yeah, trust is good. It's good that you can find somebody you can trust, especially when it's dealing with money. But you got to find someone to deal with that you trust dealing with money. That's key right there.
Exactly, and not everyone has like I would say a cousin or a father or an uncle that is like a financial advisor out there. So so that's why I think it's important to be able to bring that to everyone.
Okay. Um, so if somebody was starting out right now, what
Mhm.
is about the starting rate they have to start off with at least?
Yes, I would say if you want to start investing now, and it's not about Wizest at all. This is like about investing, and I would say like it's first like to understand your own situation, like
Mhm.
where you are with like do you have an emergency fund? What is your marital situation? Do you have kids? Because if you have a family, your objective are going to be different. So what is your capacity to save money? So it's understanding your situation, and
Mhm.
from them, when you understand the situation, then you can have a plan. And
Yes.
if you have a plan, then you can translate that into an action that is like organized, I would say, and that can give results. So that's the most important thing is, I would say, to be able to have this plan, and then decide how then to start, and what tool you're going to use. And Wizest is like I think one of the tools that are existing in out there, and it's hopefully the best out there. But like but it's yes, it's the important thing is first to have a plan and understand what is your own situation.
Yes, having a plan is key. I do agree with that. The stock market fluctuates all the time. What techniques can you offer someone who is not a regular investor?
Aha, so that I would go with a very simple answer here. Is like first, if you are not a regular I would say investor that is used to take a lot of risk trading, and ready to navigate through up and downs that could be like very stressful.
Mhm.
uh, I would say like the best solution is to chill out. And what do I mean by that? I mean like if you had your plan and you put into action your plan, uh,
Yes.
uh, normally the best thing is to think about a long-term plan. Like I have a goal for in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years. And if we look at this longer period, even if the market is like going up and down, like this year, down this year, but the year before it was up. So, and we look at like the market always in a 30 or 40-year perspective, the market is always going up in average.
Correct.
Obviously, certain years going to be going down, but
Hmm.
but in average, it's always going up. So why I said chill out, because I said like, when you start your plan, stick to your plan. Because if the first year it's going bad, then the year 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be like going back up, and on the long term, it's going to be like going up. So that's why like the best advice is like do not freak out, chill out, and making sure that like you stay consistent and true to your plan. Because if people overreact and they see it decreasing and they decide to sell because they are afraid, then they will always sell losing money, and then when they will decide to buy again, the price would already being up again. So they will lose on one side and lose on the other side. So it's better to stick to your guns, and I would say to think long term.
Well, that makes sense. Once you have a plan and think long term, I believe you're going to achieve your goals and what you're trying to work on.
Exactly, and it's like anything in life. Nothing is perfect. There is always up and downs.
That is definitely true. That is really true. Why do you believe investing is not a part of some people's lives?
Haha. And that's a pity. That's a shame. I would say, and I think there is like the main reason is like I think people see investing as like intimidating. They
Hmm.
they 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 don't have the knowledge. They don't have the exposure. There is no one is teaching in school about like personal finance or investing. So people don't know it, and it's not their fault. And so as they don't know, they are scared, and they don't
Hmm.
know they don't know where to start. And as a result, like they do not start, and they are not involved in the process. And they think also that I need to have like this much money to be able to start investing. No, you can't start investing with $50. And if you think about it, like uh, um, if you are able to put on the side like I would say 20 or $30 a month, it's like it's one Starbucks coffee a week. So it's not like crazy, but like these amount of money through 30 years
Hmm.
could be like end up like with like several hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that there is a big reward, and you don't need to have like a lot of money to start, and you don't need to be scared like if you find the right support and the right tool. And so I think that's why like today more than half of the people are not using the stock market and are not leveraging investing.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm actually interested in the stock market, but I don't know enough about it to like start.
Mhm.
But I know it's a good thing to do. And I know a lot of people know it's a good thing to do as well. But just like you're saying, not everybody know how to invest.
Yeah, and they don't also how to find the right solution and the right tool, because having access to the right I would say support is also very important.
Correct.
And that's also why with Wisest like our plan is not only to have like our own app that people will have to find us, but also to partner with companies to be able to offer Wisest as a benefit for offered by the employers to the employees. So this way, we want to
Hmm.
reach everyone instead of having them to look for it. And I think that most of us have a job, and so if we have a job and our like employer is offering a service like Wisest, we're going to give it a try, and
Yes,
and and we will realize that like investing is not like rocket science, and everyone can do it.
that's true. I can agree with that. I believe everybody can actually invest eventually if they put their mind to it.
Mhm.
What should individuals consider before investing a lot of money?
But first of all, is like before investing a lot of money, is like, do I need this money for something else? And is this like is investing now the first priority or not? Because I am, as I mentioned before, like before dedicating money to invest, you need to make sure that like you have enough money for your expense, that your monthly and daily expenses.
Mhm.
And then that you have also an emergency fund, that you have some money on the side in case there is something happening, that your car it has like some issue, or like there is like some flooding at home, so or some like a medical expense unexpected. So these are, like, I would say, the basic before I would say taking too much risk and putting a lot of money into investing. So that I would say that's like the first the first advice I would give. But like apart from that, if these pieces are like already taken care of, there is no, I would say, a bad thing at all in investing the maximum you can, because the sooner you invest and the more you invest, the more the return will be later on.
Mhm.
So
No, that makes sense. So you basically just got to figure out what you able to invest first before
mhm.
you even start.
Exactly, and that's, again, that's part of like having the plan, as we mentioned
Mhm.
before.
Yes. Since you work in the banking industry, what
Mhm.
techniques and skills have you developed to create Wiszet platform overall?
So and it's interesting question, because I was before a mechanical engineer working in the automotive industry, and then after that I switched to banking. So I can totally see what I learned in banking that helped me for Wizest, because when I think thought about the first time about Wizest, about how to find a solution to help me to invest, I didn't have any skill to be able to build a solution. I
Mhm.
didn't know nothing about finance and nothing about banking. But after working in banking, I understood like how banking works, how to build a financial product, how to deal with the regulation, and to make sure that what we do is compliant. So having learned all these skills little by little through the years, build up the confidence. I would say that yes, I think now I can do it. Now I can build this. I can go to market with a solution that will work for the end users. And I think that's it's like anything is like all that you can learn, at some point you have the confidence to be able to use it. And so that's what happened to me through my journey in banking.
Oh, well, that was interesting. So you took some of the skills that you learned from your past other professions and you say, okay, well, this sounds really good. I'm gonna create my own company.
Exactly. And because again, like I think that with Wizest, I have like kind of like a little mission, which is trying to democratize the access to investing for everyone. And so like so I really want to be able to do that. And so that's like that's where I am using everything that I learned before, and to be able to make it happen.
Yes. In the world of investment companies and apps for mobile devices,
Mhm.
what does Wiszet offer that will attract someone to the app that other companies lack as a whole?
Aha, what is our differentiation uh, factor that make us unique and interesting? So that's
Yes.
a good question. So I would say like when you look at people, uh, when they are looking at what is available in the market, and what is a good fit also for their personality, I see myself like three big options in the market. There is like the DIY tools, like for
Mhm.
people that wants to do things by themselves.
Yes.
And so if you are this type of person, you will like to use like an E-Trade or a Robinhood, because you will do your own thing by yourself, look for the stocks you want to invest in, and take your own risk, all by yourself. Perfect. If you are someone that doesn't want to spend, I would say, any second thinking about your money, and because it's boring for you, but you know that you have to invest, it's better to have a solution that is more like a do it for me, like a passive solution. Like, hey, I want to open an account, I'm going to look at it once a year, and that's it. and so that's like the robo advising platform, like Wealthfront, Betterments, like these type of solutions. But if you are like the person that is more in the middle, that is, hey, I don't want to do everything by myself because I don't know, so I need some support. But I also don't want to trust blindly what a machine is going to do for me. So I want to be able to have my own control, to be able to understand what is happening, and maybe to have like some human interaction to be able to validate my choices. So you are more the type of person that I name the do it with me person, the person that likes to collaborate.
Yes.
And so there it's where Wizest is, because at the end of the day, you are not alone by yourself, and you get support. So so it's not just a machine. So in Wizest you have real people, real experts that you can relate to, that you can follow, and that are explaining what they do. So there is it's a very different from the existing platform in the market. And then as we mentioned before, with Wizest you do not have all your eggs in one basket. You can say like, hey, I'm gonna do these, but also this and this. So this way you can analyze, see what works for you, what you like, what you don't like, but you can test, and learn also about yourself through this process. And, and the last aspect where Wizest is interesting is also the fact that in the different platform that I mentioned before, there is no learning opportunity. You have to learn by yourself, like going in YouTube or whatever. In Wizest, the expert that you are following, at least once a week, they are going to explain what is happening in this market. They are going to explain why they do a change. And you will receive this notification and this like educational material, and so you can understand through the process of investing what is investing, how it works, and what is happening with your money, which is, I would say, what is interesting. Personally, I like
Yes.
to understand what is happening with my money. So
Yes. Well, I like how you explain that. And then another thing, what I also realized when you explain it is, Wisest, from my understanding from you, is that is user friendly,
Mhm.
and you make sure that the customer can also be educated in the process when they're investing overall, which is a great thing, because just going in it blindsided and you don't know what's going on, you'll start worrying, like overthink, like even though you may want to do it, but you might start second guessing yourself. So the
Mhm.
way that y'all got it together, it basically makes you feel more comfortable of going through the process.
Yeah, exactly. We want to provide people confidence on themselves and on their ability to go through this like investing journey.
Mhm. And that's a great thing. What has motivated you to accomplish the goals you set for yourself? And what advice can you offer someone that wants to become a commercial banker?
Haha. Uh, First, I would say that to achieve the goals, I think is I want to make sure that through this life that we have, that I can be helpful and I can do something for the others people, and leveraging what I learned through my past, I would say, professional experiences. Wisest is for me the vehicle to be able to achieve that, to say,
Mhm.
hey, I can help others through Wisest because it's what I know how to do. And so that's I would say that that's the goal in life. And then on how we can, I would say, advise someone that wants to become a commercial banker. Here, I don't have an answer because I didn't become a commercial banker by choice. It was more like the life drove me to work in banking, and it was an opportunity that I had at some point, and I took it, because after working as a mechanical engineer, I said like, you know what, there is this opportunity that is like very different from what I did before, and if I don't try it now, maybe I will not try it later. So let's try something crazy now, which is nothing to do with what I did before, and let's see how it goes. And so uh, that's what happened. And so I would say to people like, never say no to opportunities, and you can always learn, and you can always like progress, and becoming a commercial banker or anything else.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And really, you say you got into it by accident, but really, the commercial banking led you to creating this app, Wizest.
Exactly. I don't know if it's pure accident, or I know that I already had like this frustration about like I want to do something about investing, and so maybe
Yes.
having this offer to work in a bank was like, okay, I want to learn about banking because maybe it's going to help me to build Wisest later. So I don't know how it worked and what was the first thing that happened in my mind, but like, but yes, that's a little bit like the story.
Well, I like the story. Well, we're coming down to the end of this interview. So the last question is why someone should choose Wisest overall.
Haha. Uh, so I don't want to force anyone to choose Wisest because I think it's great, but I would say it's more about what we have been saying along the interview. Like it's anyone needs to understand their own situation in terms of finances, to see this is where I am, what are my goals, where I want to go, what is my personality. I am a
Mhm.
do it yourself person. I am like a do it for me person, or I am a do it with me person. And
Yes.
in function of all these like conclusions, look at what would be the best fit in terms of like tools. And I would say, why Wisest? If someone likes to be able to have like the do it with me approach, a collaborative approach, to understand what is happening, to have control, to see something in a way that is transparent, I think Wizest is a fantastic tool, and there is no other, I would say, similar tool that exists in the market today. And for someone that wants to also invest for the long term, and not just like a gamble, like buying crypto, or like or doing meme stock like with Robinhood, which could be great for people that like this level of risk. But for people that don't like this level of risk, I think again, Wisest is a fantastic opportunity, and you can also learn in the process. So there is like a bunch of reasons why Wisest is great. I would say collaborative approach, learning opportunity, and also like being supported and getting a lot of knowledge available to basically to be able to diversify your approach and don't take a lot of risks while going through this investing journey.
Well, that makes some sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, I like how you explain Wisest overall. And one thing I want to know is since it's about to release soon,
Mhm.
what aspirations you think the future is for Wisest?
Aha. Uh, I would say like uh, I don't have any aspiration about like I want Wizest to be a huge company. No, that's not my aspiration. I want to in the future or in the next future for me, like just the next year or two, is to see the users of Wizest communicating with me and with the team to say like, hey, this is great or this is not great. I would need this, I would need that. Again, we are doing Wizest to try to democratize the access to investing, and we came up with one idea, and this is what is going to be released now, is the first version of Wizest. But what I want is in the future is to get the feedback from all the users to be able to adapt Wizest to what the people really need, and listen to the people and say, hey, this is what you need. So we are going to adjust Wizest to make sure that it answers your needs and answer the questions you have. And so that's my goal. It's to have Wizest evolving permanently, to be able to make sure that we answer the needs of our audience, and that they're I would say the reward will come naturally. So that's our plan and our goal.
Well, that sounds good. Well, since you mentioned democratizing, what do you mean by that in this platform itself?
Yeah, so I would say there is two different things. One is providing access to investing and support to invest to anyone, independently of the level of, I would say, assets or level of that they have. So again, my objective is not to say you need to have $50,000 to start investing. No, I want anyone to be able to start investing even with $50 or $100. And so that's one thing. And the other thing is up to now, we see the investing, I would say, universe has been quite not very inclusive. And what we saw was the beta version of Wizest, so the tests that we did so far last year and this year, is that Wizest is attracting a lot of women, much more than other solutions. And we are convinced also that's also the same thing for minorities. And so that's also what I mentioned by democratizing. Democratizing for me is on an economic level, and also in terms of who is able to access to Wizest. So that's the whole spectrum.
Well, that's good that a big demographic is attracting to this platform overall, and because a lot of people wants to invest, but just don't know how to go by doing it. And it's good that y'all have a different demographic of people that is really looking forward to get into this investing world.
Exactly, and again, it's not something that is not accessible, because Wizest, if the users are choosing to come with Wizest, there is a very basic subscription model. So it's it's like Netflix. So it's you have it's you have the $10 option, or the $20 option a month. So again, it's the cost of one coffee a week at Starbucks. So I think it's something that everyone can afford, and to be able to do that. So again, we try to make it accessible to everyone through that model.
Oh, that's good. So since you just mentioned about the description of it, which I did not know that, so what is the starting price for the subscription? Because I know you got different tiers.
Yes. So the regular pricing is going to be having the first tier at $10 a month. So you are going to be able to follow one expert in Wizest, and then if you want to follow different experts, to have almost a team of expert working for you, it's going to be $20 a month. But as we are launching now the app, we are obviously doing some special launch I would say promotion. So for anyone that is joining now in the next few months, we have obviously a first free month of trial, to make sure that people can give it a try without any risk. And then if they like it, also the first 90 days would be we would be offering the full Wizest for just the cheaper price, so for $10 a month.
That sounds really good. Well, we have came down to the end of this interview. I enjoyed interviewing you today, Axel, and thank you for being a guest on Consulting Between Friends podcast. Now, before you go, do you mind telling my listeners how they can contact you and learn more about this product, and mention once again when people can actually get this app, because here in this interview, I know people are going to be interested in getting information on this investment app.
Thank you thank you for that, Michael. And yes, it was great chatting with you today. And yes, like as you said, we are like going live as we speak. So for anyone that is interested in this learning a little bit more about Wizest and maybe joining Wizest, like first of all, like they can come to our website, which is like wizest.com. Very simple. Then the next step I will suggest is like to sign up to the waiting list as we are going live. So they will be this way aware of like what is happening and will receive a communication as soon as like the app is available. And then like in a few days they will be able to download the app in the app store. So for their different phones. And so it's going to be very exciting to see soon everyone like starting to use Wizest. So that's like I would say the recommendation. Go to see the website and then like sign up. So this way you make sure you receive all the information, and we're going to be here for you guys.
So, since you mentioned the App Store, what are the app stores that the app will be available in?
Yeah, it's going to be available on both like the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. So for like hopefully with that we cover like almost all the phones that are existing in the market.
Yes, that's definitely true. That's the ballpark right there. And another thing is, do you mind telling me your social media information?
Yes. So yes, it's to me like thank you for like reminding that. Like to me, like also anyone can follow us like in social media. We have like a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a LinkedIn page, so a Twitter also, and a YouTube channel. So people can like can look at Wizest in these different channels and follow us through this channel like. If they want like we try to engage with people this way as well.
Okay, well, since you mentioned those different platforms, so basically the name people just look for is Wisest, correct?
Exactly, yeah, through Wizest they should be able to find us.
Okay, that's really good. Well, once again, thank you, Axel, for being a guest on Consulting Between Friends podcast.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
After a short break, we will return. We are back.
In closing, I hope the information shared about investing was valuable to everyone. This episode was a chance to introduce an investment app called Wizest. The interview with Axel Thibon, CEO of Wizest, was a great opportunity to learn about the world of an investment company. Axel provided information on why an individual should consider Wizest and what Wizest will offer compared to other investment apps. I hope you can support what Wizest offers for your investment needs and contribute to your future dreams. One last thing, remember to support local businesses and create wealth for yourself. Make sure to invest in your future and think wisely. Thank you for listening to Consulting Between Friends. This podcast is available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts.
as well other platforms that are available. So like and subscribe. Need to contact us and leave us a comment? You can find us on Instagram at consulting the letter B friends. Once again, consulting B friends. An email address is consulting the letter B friends at gmail.com. Once again, consulting B friends at gmail.com. Consulting Between Friends now has a merch online store called Podcast Merch Headquarters. This is where you can buy merch to show your support for the podcast. Some items to choose from are t-shirts, tumblers, and hoodies, as well many other things I know you will appreciate. So take the time to review the items in the store. The link will be available in the podcast notes under Podcast Merch Headquarters. Consulting Between Friends appreciates the constant support. It means a lot. If you would like to support the podcast more, you can find me on Patreon at Consulting B Friends. Once again, at Consulting B Friends. The link will be in the description. Consulting Between Friends now has a way for listeners to share their feedback about the podcast. The listeners can now share their feedback on Discord. The link will be available in the podcast notes and on the podcast website. Thanks again for the support. If you have an extra minute, it would be greatly appreciated if you could answer a few questions regarding the quality of the podcast. The link will be in the description. Consulting Between Friends. Thanks to everyone for making this possible. The host, Michael Holmes Jr., the producer and content creator, Michael Holmes Jr., the artwork cover, Michael Holmes Jr., original music, a DJ named Slash, special guest, Axel Thibon, the co-founder and CEO of Wizest, content distributor, My Producer Podcasts.